Alrighty, final walk and talk of the season for the Cowboys. As disappointing end to a very promising season for the Cowboys here at AT&T Stadium. I am Ari Temkin, and we're going to be talking about what this thing looks like for the Cowboys next season, because things could look a lot different. We'll get into that coming up. But first, a little out of breath from playing in that game. Kidding. From running up and down stairs. Not because I was exercising, because I thought I was exiting that way. But go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also, consider hitting subscribe to the channel, because we'll be keeping it fresh with all kinds of news and information throughout this offseason for the Cowboys, as the offseason has officially begun for the Dallas Cowboys. They win the NFC East, and in 2 games on Sunday, both NFC East teams eliminated the Philadelphia Eagles in a disastrous fashion. The Cowboys, in a less disastrous fashion, I suppose we'll say. Cowboys losing a home playoff game, which always sucks. And let's just kind of take a look at this game. We'll start there, I guess. The Cowboys, as I look for exits, think this is going to be a good one. Maybe not. See, I usually do these videos, and then I walk and talk and forget that I'm like not lost, but locked into a specific area. And so I want to make sure I'm outside of the locked area, which I won't be if I go out here. So let's turn around, and then I'll get back to what I'm talking about. So the Cowboys lose, 23-17. A lot of penalties. Let's start there. 14 penalties for the Cowboys. Shocking, considering they are the most penalized team in the National Football League. So, yeah. Team that has a lot of penalties had a lot of penalties in their final game of the season. Go figure. Hard to win. Hard to be considered a legitimate contender. If I'm just being real about it, if you're the worst team in the NFL in penalties. It's just hard to think that a team that's 32nd in the NFL in penalties can win a Super Bowl. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm still lost, by the way. I might even be more lost. I'm not lost. I just don't want to be locked in, is the thing. So I'm just going to aimlessly walk around. I actually know exactly where I need to go, but going to waste time. So penalties. Dak. Offense. I mean, if you want to look at the final 2 months of this season for the Cowboys, it is inconsistent offense, it's penalties. And it is, despite all of that, your defense keeping you in it. And that's what we saw here. Cowboys defense kept them in it. And gave them a chance. You know, and I guess here's the thing that probably bugs me more than anything else about this one. And that is, you have all the penalties, and the miscues, and the mistakes, just all of them. And there were a lot of them. And you still had the ball. 3 minutes to go. 3 timeouts. Down 6. And you lose. Dak wasn't good enough. The offense wasn't good enough. But I put a lot of this loss on Dak. I put a lot of the end of the season on Dak. I had high expectations for this offense and high expectations for Dak Prescott. And, they failed to meet or even get to those meet or exceed those expectations. And, people bring up the contract. I think my colleague, Brian Broaddus, brings that up often in terms of thank you. The money's paid. It's not like you're getting the money back, but there's certain expectations, obviously, for quarterbacks who make that kind of money. And the expectation is that you're going to lead them down the field and win the game. All right? Now, it's not always about that when you play quarterback. Your offensive line has to protect. The play call has to be right and you obviously have to then check into the right play if the play call's not right? I mean, these are all things that go into it. Wide receivers have to catch balls, right? So it's not ever entirely on the quarterback. But for being real, forget about the money that he's making. Money isn't what is important here. It is the idea that you are the guy. Okay, so the money is, we've paid you because you're the guy. But there are, no matter what these guys make, there are plenty of these guys littered throughout the league. You are the quarterback of this team because we believe that you are the guy. We are not. It is the only position that you almost stop your entire pursuit of improving upon it when you believe you have the guy. Because we always compare guys to guys, but in the NFL you need one, and they need to be good enough to help you win, and they're the guy. So you either have a guy who's the guy at quarterback in the NFL, or you've got the guy that's before the next guy that we're looking to improve upon, right? You either have a guy, or you're drafting, looking in free agency, or trading for the guy. And when an organization tells you you're the guy and stop looking for the next guy that's going to be the guy, there's a certain expectation. Independent of money, once again. Money, that's not what I'm talking about here. It is the label of the guy, and there's expectations on him. And it's not just about the quarterback position. There are a lot of things that need to go right. But Dak Prescott was at his worst at the end of this season that he's been since the first 2 years in the league. You know, he was obviously a really good player his rookie year, but a lot of it was what was around him. And that's okay. Because that's how you have to be. That's the only way to be successful as a rookie quarterback in the NFL. Period. Stop. But it is at this point you have higher expectations for Dak Prescott to be able to overcome some of these things that we would use as excuses. Because at the end of the day, football, there are excuses built in to why things don't work, but there are other quarterbacks that make up for it in nut cutting time. And so it's fair to say that the offense failed this season. It's fair to say that the defense was incredible. And there's so much in terms of the future trajectory of this team and this defense to look forward to. We could see some massive turnover with this roster. We could see the Cowboys with a new head coach. What I've heard so far indicates that we could be seeing a new head football coach for this team, and that they could be looking to upgrade from it. And look, I mean, I think their defensive coordinator is about to get a head coaching job somewhere, and you know, so they're probably going to be looking for a new DC at a minimum. You know, I believe Dan Quinn will get a head coaching job. He's basically interviewed for every open one, and I think he'll get one of them. So they're going to be at a minimum looking for a new defensive coordinator, and that's a huge loss. They could obviously still move on from Kellen Moore. You know, and my opinion, I think there was a lot of the offensive issues are on the offensive coordinator. So, you know, as much as we sang and I sang Kellen Moore's praises for what this offense did first 6-7 weeks of the season, and it was incredible, it did not hold, and defense is caught up. He didn't even, whatever it was. I mean, it's fair as I lay a lot of this on Dak to lay a lot on Kellen. I would, if I'm the Cowboys, look long and hard about what happened this season to this offense and why it wasn't able to be fixed, and put that on the coaching staff, because it wasn't as if this thing just suddenly happened to them the last few weeks. It happened, and they had months and months to fix it, and their coaching staff didn't. They did nothing to fix the offensive issues. And so that is the responsibility of the head coach and the offensive coordinator. So I even 2 years into the McCarthy thing, remember, you hired McCarthy. The reason that Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones decided to hire Mike McCarthy was because he was the Super Bowl winning coach that could take an experienced roster where it needed to go. And in 2 years, You can't give him a COVID pass because everybody else had the same issues last year. There were first-year head coaches going into 2020 that did far better than he did. And the decision to hire Mike Nolan and the just the schematic decisions they make, like that's not a pass for me, no. And then this year, I certainly don't think you can operate hiring and firing coaches every couple of years, but I would say if there are questions about McCarthy before he was hired that were negative about his time at the end of Green Bay, I don't know that he's answered those questions in a positive way that has me just excited and ecstatic to bring him back next season. And I don't know that it's a total given that he will be. All right, so we'll have plenty to say throughout this offseason on the future of this franchise and this team when it comes to coaching and whatnot when these things come down and we hear about them. So make sure to subscribe to the channel here. But thanks for following along with us all season long on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network and right here on YouTube. So subscribe. Talk to you soon. Peace out. Losing sucks. I know that. Losing sucks. Winning is better than losing. It's true. It's fact.